Throughout history, many countries have undergone major transformations, and one of the most significant changes a nation can make is changing its name. Whether for political, historical, or cultural reasons, renaming a country is never just about words. It often reflects national identity, independence, or a break from colonial pasts. Today, we're exploring 10 countries that changed their names, what happened, where we'll uncover the fascinating reasons behind these name changes and how they shaped these nations' identities. Stay until the end to discover which country's name change caused worldwide controversy, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon for more amazing travel and history content. And first up at number 10, Holland became the Netherlands in 2020, a rebranding effort. For decades, people around the world casually referred to the Netherlands as Holland, but in reality, Holland is just a region within the country. In 2020, the Dutch government officially launched a nationwide rebranding campaign to phase out the use of Holland in international marketing. The move was aimed at shaping a more unified national identity, as the country consists of 12 provinces, not just North and South Holland. These two provinces may be home to famous cities like Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and The Hague, but the government wanted to promote the entire nation rather than just the western part. Additionally, the Dutch Tourism Board wanted to distance itself from the stereotypical image of Amsterdam's red light district and marijuana culture. Instead, the focus shifted to showcasing Dutch innovation, sustainability, and cultural heritage. Today, official materials, sports teams, and marketing efforts exclusively use the Netherlands to represent the country globally. And now at 9, East Pakistan became Bangladesh in 1971, a hard-fought independence. Before 1971, Bangladesh was not an independent nation, but instead known as East Pakistan, despite being geographically separated by 1,600 kilometers from West Pakistan. The two regions were culturally, linguistically, and economically different, with Bengali-speaking East Pakistan often feeling politically marginalized. Tensions erupted into a brutal war for independence in 1971, also known as the Bangladesh Liberation War. After 9 months of conflict, and with support from India, East Pakistan finally won its independence, officially adopting the name Bangladesh, meaning Land of Bengal. The name change was a reflection of the country's linguistic and cultural identity, recognizing Bengali as the national language. Today, Bangladesh stands as a rapidly growing economy with a strong cultural heritage, and its name represents its people's resilience and fight for self-rule. At 8, Upper Volta became Burkina Faso no less in 1984, the land of honest people. After gaining independence from France in 1960, the country was initially called Upper Volta, named after the black, white and red Volta rivers flowing through it. However, the name was a colonial remnant that did not reflect the nation's cultural identity. In 1984, President Thomas Sankara, a revolutionary leader, changed the country's name to Burkina Faso, meaning Land of Honest People, in 2 local languages, Mossi and Dioula. The change symbolized a new era of self-determination as Sankara sought to empower the country's citizens through social and economic reforms. Sankara also introduced policies focused on women's rights, environmental protection, and self-sufficiency, making him a celebrated yet controversial figure. Today, the name Burkina Faso serves as a reminder of the country's rich cultural heritage and the ambition to build a proud, independent nation. Moving on to 7, Rhodesia became Zimbabwe in 1980. Independence and African identity. For much of the 20th century, present-day Zimbabwe was ruled by a white minority government, and the country was named Rhodesia after British colonialist Cecil Rhodes. The white-led government unilaterally declared independence from Britain in 1965, refusing to grant equal rights to the black majority. After years of civil war and international sanctions, Rhodesia finally transitioned to black majority rule in 1980, adopting the name Zimbabwe, derived from Great Zimbabwe, an ancient African civilization. The name change marked the end of colonial rule and the start of self-governance. Zimbabwe's independence was a major milestone in Africa's anti-colonial struggle, and the name symbolized a return to African heritage and pride. While the country has faced political and economic challenges, the name Zimbabwe remains a powerful representation of freedom and sovereignty. At 6, Zaire became, wait for it, Democratic Republic of the Congo, 1997, a move away from dictatorship. For much of the 20th century, the country now known as the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, experienced political turmoil and dictatorship. In 1971, under the authoritarian rule of Mobutu Sese Seko, the country was renamed Zaire, part of Mobutu's campaign of authenticity, which sought to remove colonial influences. However, Mobutu's rule became synonymous with corruption, dictatorship, and human rights abuses. After he was overthrown in 1997, the country reverted to its original name, Democratic Republic of the Congo. The change was meant to symbolize a fresh start and restore national identity. Today, while the DRC continues to face economic and security challenges, the name represents the country's struggle for democracy and self-determination. Despite past instability, the Democratic Republic of the Congo remains one of the most resource-rich nations in the world, with vast deposits of gold, cobalt, and diamonds. At 5, Siam became Thailand in 1939, and again in 1949, the land of the free. For centuries, the country we now know as Thailand was called Siam. This name had been used internationally for a long time, but in 1939, the government officially changed it to Thailand, which means land of the free. The reason behind the change was deeply nationalistic. Unlike many of its neighbours, Thailand had never been colonized by European powers, and the new name emphasized this unique independence. However, after World War II, the name Siam was briefly reinstated in 1945, only to be changed back to Thailand in 1949, where it has remained ever since. The change was meant to unify the nation, but some historians argue that Siam better reflected the country's multicultural history. Despite this debate, Thailand has fully embraced its name, reinforcing its image as a proud sovereign nation with a strong cultural identity. At 4 now, Persia became Iran in 1935, a shift to a national identity. For centuries, the world knew this ancient land as Persia, famous for its vast empires, grand palaces, and rich cultural contributions. However, in 1935, the country officially changed its name to Iran, which had been used by locals for generations. The request for the name change came from Reza Shah, who wanted to emphasize the country's pre-Islamic heritage and move away from its association with Western colonial powers. Iran means land of the Aryans, reflecting the nation's deep historical roots. Despite the official name change, many people still associate Iran with its Persian past, especially in cultural aspects like Persian art, literature, and Persian rugs. Today, Iran continues to embrace its dual identity. While its modern name represents national unity, its Persian heritage remains an integral part of its global recognition. And now at 3, Swaziland became Eswatini in 2018, a return to indigenous roots. In 2018, King Mswati III announced that Swaziland would officially become Eswatini, meaning land of the Swazis, in the local language. The king stated that the old name was a reminder of British colonial rule, and the new name better reflected the country's indigenous identity. Another reason for the change? Confusion with Switzerland. Many international officials and travellers mistakenly referred to Swaziland as Switzerland, leading to diplomatic mix-ups. The name Eswatini helped resolve this issue while also strengthening the nation's cultural pride. While some citizens welcomed the change, others were critical, arguing that the country faced bigger economic and social challenges that should have been prioritised. Nevertheless, Eswatini's name change was a symbolic step toward reclaiming its traditional identity, reinforcing its connection to Swazi heritage and language. At 2, Ceylon became Sri Lanka in 1972, breaking from colonial legacy. For nearly 150 years, Sri Lanka was known as Ceylon, a name given by British colonial rulers. Even after gaining independence in 1948, the name remained, reflecting the country's colonial past. However, in 1972, as Sri Lanka became a full republic, the government changed the name to Sri Lanka, meaning resplendent island in the local language. The change was part of a larger movement to restore national pride and emphasize the country's indigenous heritage. Despite this, remnants of the old name still exist today, most notably in the branding of Ceylon tea, one of the country's most famous exports. While the name change was widely accepted, Sri Lanka has since faded decades of political struggles and ethnic tensions. However, the name Sri Lanka continues to symbolize the nation's independence and deep cultural roots. And finally, at number 1, Burma became Myanmar in 1989, a name steeped in controversy. One of the most controversial name changes in modern history occurred in 1989, when the military government officially changed Burma to Myanmar. The government claimed that Burma was a British colonial name, while Myanmar was a more inclusive term that represented all ethnic groups. However, many governments and opposition groups rejected the change, arguing that it was imposed by an unelected military regime. Some countries, including the United States and the United Kingdom, continued using Burma as a sign of opposition to the military government. To this day, the name remains politically sensitive. While the United Nations and most countries recognize Myanmar, opposition groups and activists continue to refer to the nation as Burma. The debate over the name reflects a deeper struggle for democracy and human rights in the country. From breaking away from colonial rule to embracing cultural heritage, these name changes tell the stories of nations striving for independence, identity, and self-determination. While some were widely accepted, others remain controversial to this day. Which of these name changes surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on more fascinating travel and history content. See you in the next video.